Good morning, students. Today is the time to discuss NEET MCQs or multiple choice questions of weekly test number 5. So today we are going to discuss some botany questions, which is question paper of which is already given to you. Take the question paper and follow us. Okay, we start with the first question. Question number 1. See the question number 1. Biology. MCQs discussion. Okay. Today, everyone, first botany questions. Question number 1. Botany. Question number 1. See here, a new infectious agent that is smaller than virus. Okay, new infectious agent that is smaller than virus is, they given 4 options here: prions, viroids, bacteria, and mycoplasma. Here, prions are also infectious protein particles. They are made up of proteins. Here, viroids are given. Viruses are also infectious and also smaller than the viruses. They are having only RNA as a genetic material, but these lack in the protein code. And they given third option as a bacteria. Bacteria are the members of kingdom Monera. Okay, mycoplasma also member of the kingdom Monera. So here, prions, viroids are also included into this study, and here viroids are the smaller than the viruses. They are made up of only RNA particles. They are made up of polynucleotide of the RNA only. Okay, that is our second option. Viroids is the correct for first question. First question, option 2. Second question, the benefit of algae in lichens is, you know the lichens? Lichens are the structures formed by the symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Lichens are the structures, lichens you can pronounce. They are made up of algae and fungi, symbiotic association between algae and fungi together for a structure called as lichens. Here they are asking about role of the algae. In second question, they are asking about the role of the algae. Okay, algae are usually green algae associated in this function, and they will perform photosynthesis and prepare the food. So first option, food for fungi. The role of algae is they prepare the food by photosynthesis process and supply to the fungi. Second option is shelter provided by the fungi. Mineral absorption from the surrounding nature also provided by the fungi, and production also given by the fungi, but only preparation of the food by the process of photosynthesis is provided by the algae. The role of algae is first option, food for fungi. Okay, first question, second option, and second question, first option. Third question, common cold. Question number 3 is about common colds, that you are suffering from all this type of common colds. And here it is a bacterial disease or viral disease or protozoan disease or fungal disease. So here this common cold along with mumps, herpes, smallpox, chickenpox, influenza, AIDS, so all are the diseases of the viruses. So this common cold also a disease of the virus. You know some bacterial disease in previous kingdom Monera discussed about bacterial diseases. Okay, typhoid is a bacterial disease, then tetanus, then what you call as syphilis. All are the bacterial diseases. But here this common cold is a viral disease. Second option is correct for the third question. And third option they given is protozoan disease. You learned something about sleeping sickness caused by the trypanosoma. So that is protozoan disease. And fungal disease. We learned about fungi, kingdom mycota, Then we learned something about diseases caused by fungi. Albugo causes white rust in the mustard. Coccidia, Vistulago also causes rust and spot disease in various crops. So those are the diseases caused by fungi. But here, common cold is a disease caused by viruses. So second option correct for the third question. Then question number 4. Viroids were discovered by. We learned about viroids. Viroids are the small infectious agents smaller than the viruses. They are made up of only polynucleotides of the RNA, and these viroids were discovered by a scientist called as Theo Diener. Theo Diener. First option for fourth question. Theo Diener discovered viroids. DJ Venuscoy is meant for viruses. He discovered something about causative organism of the mosaic diseases. Then one more scientist, M.W. Bizarnik. Okay, he proposed one of the term called as Potassium vivum fluidum. In that term, he discussed that he sprayed some infected extract of the viruses, and he discovered that new plants also suffering from the tobacco mosaic virus, and he called that as a Potassium vivum fluidum. Then M.W. Stanley crystallized the viruses, and during crystallization he found that proteins causes the major role in that crystallization. So first option for the fourth question, that's Theo Diener. The symbiotic relationship between fungi and algae is called as, here I wrote about the lichens. Algae and fungi perform a symbiotic association. In fifth question they are asking symbiotic association between the fungi and algae is called as what? Lichens. So here the first option for fifth question, first option lichens. So mycorrhiza second option, but mycorrhiza is symbiotic association between fungi and the roots of higher plants. There are also symbiotic association, but it occurs between fungi and roots of higher plants. Heliotism also symbiotic association, and mutualism is one more name of symbiotic association. But the option is lichens. That is first option. Question number 5, option 1. Question number 6. Here is drawn one of the diagram of TMV. So here it is a tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus. And here we have a protein coat or capsid of the viruses that cover the genetic material RNA. By labeling, this is RNA, a genetic material, and this is called as capsid. Each subunit of capsid is called as capsomere, and this entire diagram is about tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus, central located a genetic material called as RNA is surrounded by a protein coat, as capsid. So that protein coat, capsid is made up of large number of subunits called as capsomeres. These are the capsomeres. About more than 2,000 capsomeres form a capsid around the RNA. Okay. Now they are asking about labels of this diagram in the sixth question. Question number 6. They are asking what is A. Here they label as a A. This A is a RNA. Okay. Then asking about B. They label B here. B is a capsid. B is a capsid. Then they labeled C here. C is a tobacco mosaic virus. Label A is RNA. Label B is a capsid. Label C is a tobacco mosaic virus. So option 3 is correct for the question number 6. Okay, capsid, RNA and Reproduction virus. Okay, if they labeled single one, that is capsomere. So what also correct? The labeled together means that is a capsid. Each one is called as capsomere and this together called as capsid. Okay, third, if they labeled P as a single capsomere, one also correct. Okay. Now question number 7. The subunit of capsid is called as. Now only discuss it about the capsomeres. Capsid is a protein coat of the viruses and covering of the viruses. And that capsid is made up of large number of subunits called as capsomeres. So here question number 7. Subunits of capsid is called as capsomere. This one is called as capsomere. First option. Then the meaning of core is central portion. That is a central portion. That core is nothing but RNA here. The nucleoside is a part of genetic material. You know the RNA and DNA both are made up of large number of nucleotides. Both of this nucleotide. Nucleotide means nucleotides is a structure of or the building block of the DNA made up of a nitrogen base plus pentose sugar plus phosphate group. That is nucleotide. One more term they given in third option, that is nucleoside. Nucleoside having only nitrogen base and pentose sugar and lacking the phosphate group. That is nucleoside. Nucleotide is a complete structure building block of the DNA, whereas nucleoside lacking the phosphate group. They having only nitrogen and pentose sugar. So first option is correct. That is capsomere. Question number 8. Which of the following phenomenon proves that viruses are living? You know, viruses did not find any place in 5 kingdom system of Bacteria. Why? Because sometimes they show living characters, sometimes they show non-living characters. But for to say they are neither living nor non-living. Usually, when the viruses are inside the host, when they are inside its particular or specific host, they behave as a living particles or living organisms. But when they are outside the host, outside the specific host, they behave as a non-living organisms. But here they given 4 options. They carry metabolic activities. No, viruses do not carry their own metabolic activities. They copy the metabolism of the host organisms. They are not performing their own metabolic activities. Then they carry anaerobic respiration. No, none of the viruses perform the respiration. Then they multiply in host cell. When any bacteria, for example, take this tobacco mosaic virus, when this enter into the tobacco plant, that can multiply into number of copies. So third option is correct for this 8th question. They multiply inside the host cells. And fourth option they given, they cause infection. They cause infection, correct, but they cause infection when they are inside the host. They cannot cause infection when they are outside the host. So fourth is not correct that much. So third option is correct. That is, they multiply inside the host cells. Question number 8, option 3. Question number 9. They given one more diagram. The diagram of the virus called as bacteriophage. So this is the bacteriophage virus. Bacteriophage virus. It have numerous parts. Inside this we find a genetic material, that is double-stranded DNA. So this is our DNA. This is called as adhesion. Here we find a collar. This is called as sheath. These are the tail fibers. This is called as basal plate or base plate, and these are called as, to find the 6 pin-like structures called as spikes. Like this will be, these are the spikes. Okay, they are asking about labels. A, what is this A? A is a head. A is a head result, and B is collar. This is B. Here we find a 2 novel structures called as collar, and C. C is sheath. This is C. Entire protein coat covering is called as sheath. Then D is tail fibers. These are labeled as a D. Tail fibers. So this A is head, B is collar, C is sheath, and D is tail fibers. So the option for question number 9 is 1. Option number 1 is the option for the question number 9 as we labeled correctly. A is on the head. They did not label about the DNA. They did not ask about the DNA. They asked about head region, entire head region, and this is the collar, and this is the sheath. Then these are the tail fibers. So this is the diagram of bacteriophage, and this bacteriophage is a virus that can cause infection to the bacterial cells. So question number 9, first option. Then question number 10. The protein coat of virus is known as protein coat of the virus. This is a protein coat here, and this is the protein coat here. The entire protein coat is nothing but a second option, capsid. In first option they ask nucleoid. Nucleoid is a genetic material which is not covered by any kinds of membranes. It is present inside the bacterial cell, that is nucleoid. Second option is capsid. Option second is correct here. And third, capsomere. Capsomere supports subunits of the capsid. The entire protein coat is called as capsid, and individual subunits of the capsid are capsomeres. So third option is not correct because they are asking about entire protein coat. Then outer envelope is a common term that can be used in a higher cells. Question number 10, second option. Question number 11. The genome of bacteriophage can be. Genome means genetic material. See here, this is a bacteriophage. They given a concept about genome of the viruses here. Genome of the viruses. The viruses which infect the plant cells. For example, here, tobacco plant is a plant. The plant cells or plants are infected by such a virus. That virus is containing a single stranded RNA as a genetic material, or RNA as a genetic material. If it is a virus that infect the animal cell, it may be RNA or DNA. Okay. If the virus that infect bacteriophages, that will be double-stranded DNA. Okay, double-stranded DNA. So the option in this question number 11 is usually DNA. First option, the genome of bacteriophage can be usually DNA, usually double-stranded DNA. Okay, question number 12. Number 12. Here they described viruses with some terms. DJ Sky recognizes certain microbes as casual organisms of mosaic of tobacco. Okay, he described some microbes smaller than the bacteria, smaller than the microscopic organisms, and they can cause infection to the tobacco plant in the form of DNA. Mosaic disease in tobacco. Second point, M.W. Bezernik demonstrated that extract of infectious plant of tobacco could cause infection in healthy plants, and he called this one as a Contagium vivum fluidum. Contagium vivum fluidum. The meaning of this Contagium vivum fluidum is infectious infectious living fluid. Okay, this term also correct. Then third one, MW Stanley crystallized the viruses. MW Stanley crystallized the viruses. Here, all these three segments are related to the viruses, not to the bacteria, and not to the prions, not to the lichens. So, this number 12, second option, that is virus. About measuring, about one more thing is called as evidence coin and staging. All these three scientists discovered various features of the viruses, and this second option is correct. Question number 13. All are the viral diseases except, here they given list of viral diseases. List of viral diseases. They given AIDS. They given AIDS. AIDS is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. AIDS caused by HIV. Then they given one more disease called as mumps. Mumps caused by paramyxovirus. Smallpox in second option. Smallpox caused by a virus called variola. Then herpes is caused by herpes simplex virus. Herpes simplex virus. It is present in terms of SSV1 and SSV2. Then influenza is caused by same virus, influenza virus. But fourth option is anthrax. Fourth option is anthrax is a not an viral disease, it is a bacterial disease. Anthrax is a bacterial disease that is caused by Bacillus anthracis. Bacillus anthracis. So, first option, AIDS and mumps caused by viruses, smallpox and herpes caused by viruses, influenza caused by viruses. But fourth option, that is anthrax, it is not caused by viruses, it is a bacterial disease. The bacteria that causes anthrax is Bacillus anthracis. So, fourth option for the question number 13. Question number 14, they are asking about mad cow disease. Mad cow disease, also called as BSE. Question number 14, mad cow disease. So this is a disease causes in the cow when one cow is infected by this virus, this prions, and that cow contaminate other cows also by any of the body fluids. So here the cow is mad, also called as BSE. This is also called as BSE disease. Meaning of BSE is ovoid spongiform encephalopathy. Spongiform encephalopathy is a disease, that is BSE disease caused in the cow, and these prions also causes a human disease called as CZD disease. CZD, okay, means it is a Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. CRETZFELDT Jakob disease. So this is a disease caused in the human by the prions. Prions are the small infectious protein particles. They force the proteins present in the brain cells and they may damage the brain. This is called in the brain of the human. Okay, the two diseases caused by prions. One is BSE, also called as mad cow, and one more is CZD in human. So the option is Fourth option here, prions. Question number 14, fourth option, prions causes this mad cow disease. Question number 15, again asking about the simple term of the virus. The term virus means, what is the meaning of virus? Virus is nothing but venom or poisonous fluid. The meaning of virus is the Greek term. Here, the name of virus is the meaning of virus is poisonous fluid or venom. Cellular pathogen parasites are not belong to this viruses. And this term was coined by Pasteur. Question 54. Question number 16. Here we are going to analyze some concepts of the viruses. First point, viruses that infect plants have single-stranded RNA, and viruses that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA. This statement is correct. But bacterial viruses or bacteriophage are usually single-stranded RNA viruses. So they are asking about this genetic material. It is not a single-stranded RNA, it is a DNA. So the second statement is wrong. They are asking about the genome of the bacteriophage. The genome of bacteriophage is not a single-stranded RNA, but it is a double-stranded or single-stranded DNA. So the second statement is wrong. So this kind of statements are given in first option. Statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Question number 16. First option is correct. 1 is true, but 2 is false. In second option they given 1 is false, but 2 is true. It is wrong. In third option they given both are true. Fourth option given they given both are false. But correct option is option 1. Option number 16. Option 1. Option number 17. They given some hints about one of the organism here, one of the particle here. This was discovered by Theo Diener. It causes PSTD, nothing but potato spindle tuber disease. These are infectious RNA particles. It lacks the protein coat, nothing but a capsid. The molecular weight of its RNA is low. So all these characters are the characters of the viroids. The viroids are given in the second option. Viroids. Viroids are discovered by Theo Diener, and they causes a plant disease called, they can cause more than 20 diseases in the plant, and one of the diseases mentioned is PSTD, nothing but potato spindle tuber disease. And these are infectious RNA particles, and these lack the protein coat, that means only RNA chain, only polynucleotide of the RNA. Then it lack the protein coat. The molecular weight of this RNA is low. So that is what viroids. Second option is correct. Question number 18. Question number 18. Classification. This 18 onwards, the questions are belongs to next topic, kingdom. A plant kingdom concept is included up to the general characters of the algae. So here, next question, question number 18, belongs to plant kingdom. Next topic. Classification which is based on evolutionary relationship of various organisms is called as. Here, there are various systems of classification: artificial system, natural system, phylogenetic system. So out of these three systems, one of the system that is based on the evolutionary history of the organism, evolutionary relationship of the organism, that is called as phylogenetic system of classification. Here, third option, phylogenetic, the system of classification based on evolutionary history. First option they given artificial, it is based on few observable morphological features. Second option they given natural system of classification. Here they classify the organisms based on all the characters. They may be morphological, anatomical, embryological, then cytological characters. So second option is wrong here. And fourth one they given a two kingdoms classification. This two kingdom classification not evolutionary relationship, not based on the evolutionary relationship. So question number 18, third option. Question number 19. The system classification of plants proposed by these two botanists is claimed to be natural system. You know the three systems as I discussed now: artificial system, natural system, and phylogenetic system. Artificial system was proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. The natural system of classification was proposed by Bentham and Hooker. Then phylogenetic relationship or phylogenetic classification is proposed by Engler and Bradley. Here, let's think about natural system. This natural system of classification was proposed by Bentham and Hooker. Bentham and Hooker are given in option 1. In second option, they given Aristotle. Aristotle is the father of biology as well as zoology, and Theophrastus is the father of botany. John Hutchinson also proposed one of the modified phylogenetic system of classification. Is also a botanist. Engler and Bradley proposed a phylogenetic system of classification. But of these four options, option 1 is correct for the question number 19. Bentham and Hooker. Question number 20. We are reading some characters of algae and you are finding one of the incorrect statement. Algae usually reproduce vegetatively, correct, by fragmentation. If it is a filamentous algae, example Spirogyra, so this filamentous algae undergo fragmentation for reproduction. That is vegetative mode of reproduction. Asexual by formation of different types of spores. Zoospores are the example. Zoospores, planospores, hypnospores are the different kinds of asexual spores. And sexually by formation of gametes. They form similar or dissimilar gametes, and these gametes fuse together to form a zygote. That is sexual mode of reproduction. First statement is correct. Algae are classified into three classes. You know, chlorophysic, phaeophysic, and rhodophysic. Let us put into 4: Psilopsida, Pteropsida, Lycopsida, and one more is Cephalospida. So, and angiosperms into 2 classes, that is dicotyledon and monocotyledon. This statement also correct. Algae are chlorophyll bearing, simple, thalloid, autotrophic, and largely aquatic organisms. It's also correct. But fourth statement about this 20th question is the plant body of algae is more differentiated than that of bryophytes. You know, the plant body of algae is made up of a thallus. It is a thallus. But in thallus of the bryophyte is more differentiated than the algae. Thallus of the bryophyte having root-like structures, stem-like structure, and leaf-like structures. But thallus of the algae is not having all those structures. Thallus not having all those structures. So it is not differentiated, not more differentiated than the bryophytes. So this fourth statement is wrong or incorrect. For 20th question, the option is 4. Okay. Next, question number 21. Question number 21. Fusion between a larger non-motile female gamete and smaller motile male gamete. The fusion between larger non-motile female gamete and smaller motile male gamete is called as what? Oogamy. Oogamy. 21st question. Oogamy. You know, 3 types of sexual reproduction: isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. In isogamy, we find 2 gametes which are similar in their morphology. Both are of same size, same shape. That is isogamy. In anisogamy, we are finding 2 gametes. Here, smaller is a male gamete. Male gamete is smaller and motile, and female gamete is larger and motile. Both are of dissimilar size and shape, dissimilar morphology. That is anisogamy. But in oogamy, we find the non-motile female gamete that is situated on the mother plant, and the male gamete is only a motile gamete that moves towards the female gamete and fuse that form a zygote. It is a oogamy type of sexual reproduction. Third option is correct for 21. Question number 22. In which algae motile colonies are found? motile colonies. They are not asking motile gametes. They are asking motile colonies. You know the structure of wall walks. It is the mother cell of the wall walks. Inside we find number of daughter colonies. Here we find number of flagella. Number of flagella. So these flagella meant for locomotion of this entire colony. Here, first option, question number 22 is the first option, wall walks. They given Ulothrix and Spirogyra also. Ulothrix and Spirogyra are the multicellular filamentous algae. They are multicellular and filamentous. They are not going to form any colonies, and these filaments are not motile, one. So first option is correct. Wall walks, that is multicellular, as well as when having a flagella for locomotion, it is colonial. The cells are arranged in the form of a colony of wall walks. So 22nd, first option. 23. In contrast to algae, the fungi are. You know, first option, this fungi are multicellular, but here we find one of the fungi called as yeast. Yeast is a unicellular. This option is wrong. Now, chitinized cell wall. The cell wall of the fungi is made up of chitin, okay, or chitin. You can pronounce anything. This is a chitinous cell wall or chitinized cell wall is correct. And they are non-chlorophyllous. Fungi are usually heterotrophic. Why they are heterotrophic? Because of absence of the chlorophyll. They cannot prepare their own food. They resemble algae, but they cannot prepare their own food because they are non-chlorophyllous. They are not having chlorophyll pigments. They are colorless. So fourth option, both 2 and 3 are correct. Okay, second option also correct. Third option. Which of the following system of classification involves usage of one or few morphological characters for grouping of organisms? Okay, here I already discussed 3 different systems of classification. One is artificial, second one is natural, third one is phylogenetic. I explained about artificial system. In this artificial system, we discussed something about the basis of classification. This system is based on very few observable morphological features. In natural, we're finding all the characters. In phylogenetic, we are finding all the characters along with their evolutionary relationship. So here, the first option is correct. Artificial system. 24, 1. 25. Assertion and reason. Again, they asked about artificial system. The artificial system gave equal weightage to vegetative as well as sexual characters, but this is not acceptable. Why this is not acceptable? Not acceptable because vegetative characters are more easily affected by the environment. So because of senescence, leaves will be fall off. Because of some infections, root may get infected. But flower or sexual characters are visible or remain alive for longer duration. So both assertion and reasons are correct, and reason is a correct expression of the assertion. We can mark option 1. Question number 26. Algae are chlorophyllous autotrophs. They are haloid and they are archegoniate. But here these are chlorophyllous and haloid, not archegoniate. Archegoniate plants are bryophytes, pteridophytes, and gymnosperms. So these algae are not archegoniate. Third option, both 1 and 2. Then 27. Algae are most of the algae are aquatic in nature. They survive in the water, maybe fresh water or maybe marine water, but most of them are surviving in the aquatic form or water bodies, and some are terrestrial, and none of the algae are parasitic and lithophytes. So it is first option. Question number 27, first option. 28, the last question of this part. In algae we meet. In algae we meet means how these algae reproduce sexually. In algae we meet all type of sexual reproductions: isogamy, anisogamy, as well as oogamy. All 3 types of sexual reproductions occurs in the algae. It is fourth option, all of these. So mention these cases and prepare for your upcoming written test exam. Thank you. Thank you. Next, dual module explained by Ashokkumar sir.
Good morning, students. If you see the look at the first question, which of the following has enterocoelomate invertebrate? So here we know that coelom is two types, cytocoelom and enterocoelom. In that enterocoelom invertebrates are echinodermata. So if you see rest of the arthropoda, annelida, mollusca, whatever the other three options, they are all having cytocoelom. First one, option 1. Second question, water vascular system is found in sea anemone, sea pen, sea cucumber, sea horse. 4 options are given if you see. Sea anemone, scientific name Adamsia. Sea pen, scientific name Paniculata. Sea cucumber, Cucumeria. And sea horse, Hippocampus. If you see, sea anemone and sea pen, they belongs to phylum Coelenterata. Sea cucumber, it belongs to the phylum Echinodermata. Sea horse, it belongs to the phylum Chordata. If you see water vascular system, clearly we discussed in class, water vascular system is present in phylum Echinodermata. Water canal system is present in phylum Porifera. So water vascular system is also called ambulacral system. And the second question answer 3. Next. Third one, if you see the animal with the bilateral symmetry in young stage and a radial pentamerous symmetry in the adult stage belongs to the phylum. So, peculiar character, unique character, third question we are discussing. So, the unique character of the phylum Echinodermata, if you see, in the larva stage there is a bilateral symmetry. When it is coming to the adult stage, best example starfish, if you see, there is a pentamerous, 5 arms will be there. Pentamerous radial symmetry, or you can say secondarily radial symmetry also you can call it. So the answer is Echinodermata, where in the larva stage you can find the bilateral symmetry. When it is coming to the adult stage, it is secondary radial symmetry, or you can say pentamerous radial symmetry. So third question, option 4. Next, fourth one, secondary radial symmetry is found in. So just now we discussed similar concept. If you see the same concept, the question is repeating. So the secondary radial symmetry is found in Echinodermata. Why we are saying secondary radial symmetry? Just now we discussed in the larva stage, early stage of development, the symmetry is a bilateral symmetry. So when it is developing further, when it is metamorphosis, after that it losing the symmetry and the pentamerous radial symmetry or secondary radial symmetry is forming. And the fourth one also Echinodermata, answer 3. Next, fifth one. In Echinodermata, tube feet are related with. Here, if you see the option, fifth one, tube feet are related with locomotion. Second option, excretory system. Third one, respiratory system. Fourth one, reproductive system. Except the reproductive system, locomotion is the primary function. Little excretion also is there, and gaseous exchange, respiratory function also is there. But here it is not given like function. Systems they given. respiratory system, excretory system. So it is not the part of the system, but it is doing the additional function. But the primary function is locomotion. If it is in the case of, the question is given like this: in echinodermata, 2 feet are performing following functions. In case of the question is giving like functions, then you can go for 3 options. But instead of they are giving related with, so system level we are going. Here it is belong to the locomotion system, right? So the fifth one, locomotion. Option 1. Next, starfish belongs to the phylum. So the easiest thing, starfish belongs to the phylum Echinodermata. Direct thing. If you see, sixth question, option 3. Next, seventh one. Which one of the following does not have an excretory system? Option 1, Myxine. Option 2, Charcharodon. Option 3, Melanoglossus. Option 4, Astrias. If you see, we discussed clearly the characteristic features of Echinodermata. There is no specialized excretory system to eliminate the waste materials. So in the Echinodermata phylum, if you see the examples given, what are the options? Astrias directly. Melanoglossus, there is a proboscis gland. And the second one, Carcharodon, so which is a white shark which is having kidneys, and Myxine also, which is also having kidneys. So first 2 options are belonging to the Chordata phylum. Third one is Hemichordata, which is having proboscis gland, and the fourth one is Astrias, which is a Echinodermata, which does not have any specialized excretory system. Question number 7, option 4. Next, age 1. Which of the following is properly matched? Here, the question is out of NCERT. If you see, class level they give phylum, class, example. So 4 options given like this. First one, phylum, class, and example. If you see the first one, Platyhelminthes trematoda planaria, properly matched correctly. So first one is wrong. Platyhelminthes phylum. But the class is not a trematoda, the class is Turbellaria. So the first one is wrong. Second one, Echinodermata, Astroidea, starfish. So if you see the Echinodermata phylum, Astroidea class, starfish, clearly correct. Third one, you have to know the other things also. Arthropoda, insecta, spider. In the Arthropoda phylum, spider belongs to Arachnida class, not the insecta class. Keep it in mind. Next, Mollusca, Gastropoda, and Unio. Fourth one, apple snail example. Mollusca, cephalopoda is given, but it is gastropoda. So here the 8th question, correctly matched one is option 2. Next, 9th one. Which of the following can regenerate entire alimentary canal? So you have to remember the Echinodermata phylum, one important character we discussed, that is evisceration. Evisceration means just vomiting out just throwing the alimentary canal outside. Whenever the animal is feeling the threat, what it will do for the predator, it will throw out the gut from inside the body. So that time what will happen? Predator will feel awkward and it will leave. So it is a defense mechanism. So once it is throwing the gut, again it is able to regenerate that alimentary canal or gut completely. So this evisceration is autotomy, means self body parts are destructed for the defense purpose. Here this evisceration only happening to the loss of alimentary canal, and the animal is again able to regenerate. So if you see that clearly in sea cucumberia, which is in Echinodermata phylum. So amphibia, fish and birds, they don't have that kind of regeneration capacity. So question number 9, sea cucumber, which we are calling cucumberia, option 3. Next, 10th, the echinoderms are arboreal insects, terrestrial insects, freshwater worms. The first point we are discussing in the habitat always, Echinodermata are exclusively marine. Remember this concept? 3 phylum members are exclusively marine. One is Echinodermata, second one Ctenophora, third one Hemichordata. 3 phylums are exclusively marine, means they are completely marine organisms. Okay, so here the 10th one Echinoderms are marine organisms. Next, 11th one, scientific name of starfish, Echinus. If you see the Echinus is sea urchin, Limulus, king crab, second option. Third one, Echidna, Tachyglossus. Echidna is the common name for the spiny anteater, which is in a class Mammalia phylum Chordata. Tachyglossus, Echidna scientific name. And the fourth one, Astraeus, starfish, scientific name is Astraeus and it belongs to the class Astraea. So 11th one, option 4. 12th, in which of the following jaws are found? Jaws, mouth is having the jaws. If you see, Herdmania, sea squid commonly called. So which belongs to the Urochordata. Next, Pedromyzon. Pedromyzon, common name is lamprey and Amphioxus. So which we are calling lancelets. Hagfish. So here if you see Herdmania, Pedromyzon, Amphioxus, which does not have any jaws. If you can observe the jaws with mouth, so which are present only in fish only. So 12th one, option 2. Question number 13. Which of the following phyla has no freshwater form? So see the question number 10 and 13. You have relative. So same statement in another way they ask. So the echinoderms are habitat marine animals, and similarly, so completely marine animals means there are no freshwater living organisms. They are exclusively living in seawater only. Question number 13 if you see. So the phyla has no freshwater forms. Echinodermata, Ctenophora and Hemichordata. These are the 3 phylums which are exclusively marine. So question number 13, option 1. Tube feet are the locomotory organs. Question number 14 and question number 5 if you see. Echinodermata tube feet are related with, and question number 14 if you see, tube feet are locomotory organs of Echinodermata only. So if you see platyhelminthes, there are no locomotory organs, specialized one. Mollusca, muscular foot is there. Arthropoda, jointed legs are there. So each phylum specialized organs you can recognize easily. In Echinodermata, tube feet we are calling them. Question number 14, option 2. Next, question number 15. Which of the following statements is false? Here you have to identify the false statement, wrong statement. First one, option first one. Male roundworm is smaller than female. Completely right or wrong? Right only. So the male organism is smaller. If you can see in the sexual dimorphism characteristic feature in phylum Astraeohelminthes, the male worm is smaller than the female worm in case of roundworms. First one is right. Earthworms are hermaphrodites, which means they are bisexual organisms. So where single organism is able to produce both male and female gametes. Third option, echinoderms are protostomous coelomates. So this one you have to see. Protostomous means 2 words you have to remember, recollect. One is protostomous. Second one is deuterostomus. Proto means first. Deutero means second. So what first and second? Stomus, mouth. Stomus means mouth. If you see in their development, the organisms from embryo, zygote to embryo to fetus, when they are developing, no? So in the embryonic stage, the organism is developing first mouth or anus. So first mouth if they are developing means secondary anus will form. If they are developing secondary mouth means first anus is forming in the digestive system. So protostomas up to phylum mollusca, invertebrates, if you see up to phylum mollusca, all are protostomas. Deuterostomas, 3 phylums: Echinodermata, Chordata, and Hemichordata. So these 3 phylums belongs to the Deuterostomas. So in the digestive system, first anus is forming, later mouth is forming. So the option, if you see, a third one, echinoderms are protostomas coelomates. Wrong. Echinoderms are deuterostomas coelomates. So 15th question, option 3. If you see the fourth one, human teeth are anatomically comparable to scales of sharks. Correct only, because human teeth is having the enamel structure. Previously class we discussed it. You can go through that. Next, 16th one. In which of the following the heart is not in ventral position? Remember the phylum chordata characteristic features. What we discussed: notochord, ventrally located heart, pharyngeal gill slits, post-anal tail. These are the characteristic features we discussed about the phylum chordata. If you see there, fish, frog, and lamprey. Here, 16th question is not ventral. Not ventral means in the dorsal position. Fish, frog, lamprey. First 3 options, all 3 are chordates, which are having ventral heart only. The fourth option is crab, which is having dorsally located heart. So question number 16, option 14, option 4. Next, 17. If you see pharyngeal gill slits. So regarding pharyngeal gill slits, they given 4 statements. The first one is are unique chordata characteristic. Second one, found in fish, crab, snail, and aquatic insects. Third one, are found in higher invertebrates and vertebrates. Fourth one, they are not found in protochordates but are present in vertebrates at least during embryonic stage. Here you have to remember pharyngeal gill slits in chordata characteristic feature we discussed. Gills are different from gill slits. Here you have to understand that concept. Even humans, we are having gill slits in the early embryonic stage, but we don't have gills. Gill slits are there. Later they used to develop into these pouches in the pharynx region. Inner ear parts will develop. So unique character of chordata, pharyngeal gill slits. Here it is not about the gills. So fish, crab, snail. So you can see some invertebrates or you can say non-chordates are there. So second one is wrong. Third one are found in higher invertebrates and vertebrates. Wrong completely. It is belong to the what you can say chordata phylum only. So fourth one, they are not found in protochordates but are present in vertebrates. That fourth statement also wrong. It is there in the protochordates also. So the first option is correct. Are unique chordata characteristic feature. 17. 1. 18. In which of the following animals notochord does not persist throughout? Like here, persist means it has to stay. Does not means it which is absent. So the animal in which notochord is absent throughout the life. So remember, 3 subphylums we are discussing. One is Urochordata, second one Cephalochordata, and third one Vertebrata. So if you see here, in that particularly Urochordata we discussed, only in the larva tail stage only, whatever the notochord is there, which is present. Notochord is present only in larva stage, that too in the tail portion only. So Urochordates are also called tunicates. Keep it in mind, Urochordata they are also called tunicates. And if you see Amphioxus, Petromyza, and Mexane, on all these 3, except second option, rest of all these 3 organisms are having notochord throughout their life. When it is coming to tunicate, only in the larva stage. So does not persist. So the exact correct answer is option 2. Next, question number 19. Hartmania belongs to the subphylum Urochordata. Direct, you can go Cephalochordata. It is not Hartmania. Hemichordata, no. Protochordata, no. So here you can go with the Urochordata. Direct subphylum. Subphylum name Urochordata. So the question number 19, option 3. And Hartmania is also called C-squid. Common name. Hartmania, common name. So this is the scientific name and the common name is sea squid. So because it will spit water from two holes like a jet. So if you squeeze something, know how the water will come to the pipe, like that the organism will spit the water outside like a jet propulsion. Right? Next, question number 20. Which of the following structures is present in all chordates? So if you see cranium, options if you see all structures. Cranium absent in Urochordata, Cephalochordata. So first option is wrong. Second, notochord, unique character which is there. Third one, spinal cord. Spinal cord, if you see early in protochordates, there is no spinal cord. So third one also wrong. Fourth one, vertebral column, only you can find in subphylum Vertebrata. Urochordata, Cephalochordata, it is not there. So option 2 is correct. Only notochord is there in all chordates. NCERT statement you have to remember unique characteristic feature. Question number 20, option 2. Next, which of the following is not contained in phylum Chordata? So which is not there in phylum Chordata? Cephalochordata is there, tunicata is there, vertebrata is there. Second option if you see the Echinodermata is not there in phylum Chordata. 21st 2. Next, 22nd. Which of the following is not a deuterostome? Earlier we discussed protostome, deuterostomes. Now here, if you see the deuterostomes, 3 phylums, Hemichordata, Chordata and Echinodermata. Other than these 3 phylums, rest of the 8 phylums belongs to the protostomes. So except which one? Not a deuterostome, mollusca. If you see the third option directly is a mollusca which is protostomous group. 22nd option 3. Next, 23rd. The tunicates are other name for Urochordata. So the tunicates are nothing but we are calling Urochordata subphylum. So tunicate, why we are calling them? There is a tunic coat which is made up of tunicin. We are also calling cellulose derivative or animal cellulose. Question number 23, directly tunicates are Urochordata. 1. Option 1. Question number 24. Amphioxus belongs to. So Amphioxus is nothing but lancelet, branchiostoma, which belongs to Cephalochordata. Urochordata, if you see, just now we discussed tunicate, Hartmania, Accidia. These are all an examples of what you call Urochordata. When it is coming to the Cephalochordata, branchiostoma, lancelet or Amphioxus, which belongs to the subphylum Cephalochordata. 24nd. Question number 25. Last one. Members of hemichordates are, see if you see on the statement exclusively marine, freshwater forms. On the single statement, if you see 3 questions are there in this question paper. Exclusively marine. So or marine, there are no freshwater forms. So question number 25, hemichordates are exclusively marine. So along with hemichordate, Echinodermata and Ctenophora. Remember, question number 25, 2. So the exclusively marine organisms, 3 phylums are there. Okay. So I hope you understood each and everything. So prepare for the next exam. All the best. Thank you very much.